7 years ago, when I joined the Air Force, I was a fit, athletic 18-year-old kid. I'd done sports all my life, and it never really dawned on me that there was ever going to come a time in my life that I actually had to try to be fit. I was always just fit. 2003, I'd been in my duty station for about a year, and I took my first fitness test. It was an ergometry test. They said I was good to go. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. It's a bike test. They said I was fit. So I said, okay, great, I don't have to do anything to be fit. I'm just still fit. Well, in 2004, the Air Force changed the PT test to a run, push-ups, and sit-ups. Fortunately, our unit commander, before the change went into effect, said, hey everybody, we're going to practice. We practiced, and I failed. Oh boy, did I fail. Luckily, our commander had us practice, because that way I had time to get ready before the standards were actually official. But since then, I've done my best to stay fit, so I never failed that test again. But it's because of that failure and the realization of how unfit I actually was and didn't notice it that I believe that even though there are a few flaws within the Air Force fitness program, I think all airmen should embrace the continuously changing program and try to make it work instead of resist any changes that might occur or complain about the way it's conducted. Today, I'm going to explain a lot to you about the Air Force fitness program, beginning with the evolution from the 1992 ergometry test to the 2004 full fitness test to the changes that are actually going to be occurring in January of 2010. We'll start with the ergometry test that I mentioned before, also referred to as the bike test. I want to take a look at the fact that it really hurt our fitness levels in the Air Force rather than helped it. It was initiated in 1992, and the reason it was implemented was to preclude the injuries that were actually occurring by the force in the 1.5-mile run. Personally, I think I might have tried to do some kind of other implementation to make the force more fit so they didn't hurt themselves in the 1.5-mile run. But the Air Force said, okay, people are hurting themselves, let's make this test easier. And when I say easier, I mean easier. For those of you that have not taken the ergometry test, you go to the Health and Wellness Center, they put a heart rate monitor on you, and you pedal a stationary bike for 8 to 12 minutes. What they're looking for in that 8 to 12 minutes is your VO2 max, which ultimately is the measurement used to estimate estimate individuals' cardiorespiratory fitness levels. So they're doing this test to see how fit you are to run, but they won't let you run because you're going to hurt yourself. It doesn't make any sense to me. If we're going to test our aerobic levels, we should run. At the time, though, this was deemed high-tech and the most accurate way to determine an individual's fitness levels. Personally, just because it's high-tech doesn't mean we necessarily need to use it. There's nothing wrong with a good old-fashioned run. But they decided not to. They decided to go with the technology, and what that resulted in was a largely lethargic and grossly overweight force that we had at the time. But General Jumper, former Chief of Staff of the Air Force, realized that the ergo test was not what the Air Force needed, especially at that time when there was several conflicts going on. The force needed to be fit to fight. Well, in 2003, General Jumper stated that my belief is we are a much different Air Force today. We deploy to all regions of the world, living in tent cities and working on flight lines at extreme temperatures. Some of our airmen today are operating from inside Iraq, subject to attack, and could be called upon to defend the base, a trend that will surely increase in the growing expeditionary nature of our business. The amount of energy we devote to our fitness program is not consistent with the demands of our warrior culture. It's time that we change that. He was 100% correct when he said that it was time to change, and that's where the new Air Force Instruction 10248 came into development in 2004. And that instruction states, the goal of the fitness program is to motivate all members to participate in a year-round physical conditioning program that emphasizes total fitness to include aerobic conditioning, strength flexibility, training, and healthy eating. Now, this test requires each individual to run 1.5 miles, do a body composition measurement, and do strength training, which would equal sit-ups and push-ups. Going from nothing, what I feel was really nothing, with the ergometry test to this test was a tremendous leap forward into where our Air Force should be going to and is actually going to. There is some kinks that still needed to be worked out, and fortunately our current Air Force leadership recognized that, which is why our Air Force fitness test is going to be evolving once again. Beginning in January 2010, there are going to be more changes included into Air Force Instruction 10248. The two I'd like to highlight and that I feel are the most significant are as follows. First one is that the test, instead of being conducted once a year, will follow path with our sister services and be conducted twice a year. The reason I think this is so significant is because right now airmen can do nothing for 8 to 10 months a year, and then a few months before their fitness test go ahead and work out and get ready for it. Well, that's not the case anymore. Every 6 months we have to take a fitness test. So there is no way that every airman is not going to be fit year-round. The second I'd like to highlight is that the AFI now says that trained civilian proctors will conduct the fitness test, and they will be administered at a new centralized location called the Fitness Assessment Cell. This will be wonderful for our fitness levels because it's going to eliminate any good old boy networks that existed or could possibly exist. Because right now the physical training leaders at each unit conduct the test, which means could be friends with somebody, could feel bad, could know them, could work with them for them, and give them that one extra push-up that'll push them over the top. This is going to alleviate that problem, and this is going to make it even across the board, and ultimately it's truly going to increase the fitness level of our entire force. The fitness program for the Air Force has changed significantly from 1992 to 2010. Today I covered the evolution of the fitness program from the ergometry test to the full fitness test to the changes that are going to be implemented in 2010. Hopefully I have motivated all of you to take a close look at the Air Force fitness standards and realize that even though we may not always want to take a PT test, even though sometimes it's too hot, too cold, that it stinks, that it's truly a very important part of our day-to-day mission. Current Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Rodney J. McKinley, hit the nail on the head when he said maintaining proper fitness levels really is about maintaining combat capability. Being fit can make the difference between life and death for airmen when actions require concentrated physical activity on or near the battlefield.